course, it's inherently limited by the number of program erase cycles to each cell. And typically that's a number that we'd measure in tens to hundreds of thousands, depending on the flash chips and the technology generation. What does that actually mean though? Well, it comes back to your write workloads. So that means how fast are you rewriting the areas at the application level? And how fast does that translate to physical chip writes, those can actually be two very different numbers depending on the flash controller technology. The net of it is that in many enterprise workloads, what you're looking at is a lifespan that you'd measure in at least 5 years for many of the flash-based technologies out there. Because while a lot of the vendors like to promote the extremely high IOPS, the extremely high bandwidth numbers, the realistic enterprise applications actually benefit most from the latency characteristics of the flash storage. So you'll run into CPU bottlenecks or bottlenecks elsewhere in the infrastructure far before you get to the massive million IOPS or billion IOPS. Now I've seen at least one vendor talking about that the flash storage would be capable of in a massively parallel environment. So what we see is that flash is hitting the enterprise lifespans, and while wear is a reality with the technology, it's simply not something that's important in the majority of enterprise workloads. Yes, I would agree with that in a general case, and I would actually highlight that in the normal laptop use case, you actually stand a slightly higher probability of causing an issue due to physically disturbing the hard drive than you would because flash has no moving parts. Absolutely, for the right workload. Now, keep in mind that the cache is not good for every workload, but in certain environments where there's some sort of predictability to how you access the data, a cache solution is absolutely the right answer. So you don't have to go all flash all the time to get the performance characteristics of flash in your data center. Maybe the right answer is a small amount of flash and a large amount of disk or even tape. You hit the nail on the head. Flash is not going to fix your CPU bottlenecks, nor is it going to fix your network bottlenecks. You have to look at the total solution and what's causing the wait to find the right technology to solve the problem. So there are a few tools that are available in the marketplace in general. IBM has Disk Magic available among other tools. We don't necessarily have the newest flash technology in there, but we're working on that. But there's a limitation there, and that's that many of the general purpose tools don't have a high degree of application intelligence. What that means is that you might be able to capture an I/O profile of an application, but that may not actually be reflective of what the application would do if you dramatically change the characteristics of the storage. So we invariably, as part of the Flash team, try and guide clients to a level of understanding about what's really going on in the application by trying to get statistics out of the application layer rather than necessarily at the storage layer. And that way we can conduct a more effective evaluation of the bottlenecks.